Good evening, everybody. The paper I'm going to present today is about a case study for stakeholder management in a large program. The program is one well-known case study in the military service. It's called LAMH. LAMH was supposed to be this machine, the lifting machine, which is taking tanks from the sea directly to the war, inside the war. Okay, this program started 1980 after almost 15 or 17 years and spending of 17 million on research and $50 million on execution. They canceled it. So 17 years, $50 million, or total $76 million, they canceled it. Okay. The reason behind that, this is what mainly I'm going to discuss today. So, see, probably there is some further problems or some further things happening during this one, and political things happen at the end of at the closure of the program. Yet the majority of the problem was because of the conflicts in stakeholder management. So I'll present one by one what's happened there. So first of all, this paper in general is about the impact of poor stakeholder management in the failure of the program. Once we're talking about program, large program, multi-billion dollars, and so many people from different entities are joining together to do this one, this is where you start seeing these conflicts. And the impact of carrying that stakeholder conflict all over the project life cycle. What's happened here with the PO of the program, that they had the conflict from the beginning. They had a contradiction on the benefits of this program from different parties. We are going to share the parties with you right now. Okay, what's happened that the PO, he didn't take an action to solve the conflict at the beginning. He keep carrying this conflict over and over the program life cycle until it reached a place that it's collapsed. There is no further place to go further. And the impact of the absence of the well-defined scope and boundaries. Since there is so many stakeholders are joined together and they are a powerful stakeholder, there is no clear boundaries between those stakeholders. So what's happened is everyone wants further power, further acquisition for the benefits of this program. And the impact of continuous client requirement changing during the program life cycle. The project started by a machine or the LAMH was supposed to just taking the tanks from the sea to the wall or to the field. It ended up by something which has to fly with 2 tanks. So this is how much the requirement changed over the entire period of the program. This is list of the stakeholders. If you see this type of stakeholders, you have Department of Defense, DoD, you have the US Army, you have the American taxpayer, you have the troop support commanders, the watercraft R&D. Those people are trying to make something, are trying to produce a new machine, but they don't know what this machine is doing. And on top of that, they are all of them powerful stakeholders. Okay? What type of conflict we have here in this paper? We have mainly 3 types of conflict. The first one is the interpersonal based conflicts, which is mainly the acquisition of power, the competition on the acquisition of power. Everyone wants to get further control, further decision-making force, and trying to pose his idea or what he wants over the other stakeholder. Second one is the task-based problem, where some stakeholders, and you can see it over the paper, that they start asking for something even more than what's allowed to be asked, and expecting higher expectation than what this program can do. And the third one is the process-based conflict, where it's taking mainly a place between different stakeholders when they are asking about things that should not be done on military services. Okay, we adopt this type of system in dealing with the stakeholders about mapping the stakeholders over 4 different categories, depending on the power and the interest of each one. So the low power, low interest, mainly just monitor, giving them low interest, try to avoid the disruption for the flow of the program. Second one is with high interest and low power. This is mainly the media and the people who just want to know about the project. Those people just keep them informed, don't give them too much power, and keep satisfied with low interest and high power. This is like the T school and research and development, other department. And the interest and power high. This is where you have to focus all the attention to make sure that there is no special problem in this one. The main proposition of this paper mainly it's a case study adopted from a paper for Shutterfield. The paper is how, the title of the paper is How Not to Manage a Project or a Program. Because mainly what they did with this program is that they didn't manage. Develop a model to avoid conflicts raised by different stakeholder agenda, and the important thing is the mapping of the stakeholder, which is something I didn't see that much on the literature, how to make a map of the stakeholder between different types of stakeholder and the relation between them, and who's affecting whom, and the power and the interest between this one. We end up by drawing an actual map where a PO, the program the coordinator, he can look to it and see with whom he has to deal and what type of interest and power they are putting on each other. And we found mainly what was the main reason of the failure, and creating a model for large program. Of course, this case study is a military case study applicable on large program. However, I tried to develop a model that can be applicable on all the other mega projects situation, because at the end of the day we are going to face the same thing. If you have multi-stakeholder, multi-powerful stakeholder, the affection of each one of them is going to be the same, and this war on the interest and authority, it's all over. And by the way, we cannot see here in Dubai as well on the large program how much the conflict between the large stakeholders, how much they are affecting each other. We create the model of this study by creating 5 phases of the stakeholder management. We start by identifying the stakeholder, realize who is the actual stakeholders and the power of this stakeholder based on these 4 different types. Second one is prioritizing the stakeholders by just giving the interest and the power to the one who is going to affect the program failure or success. But avoid putting so much interest and so much time on the stakeholders that are not affecting properly the final program. The third phase is visualizing the stakeholder, because without having the map, which is mainly the important thing that we did in this study, without seeing the actual map of the stakeholder, still you cannot realize what type of stakeholder and the size of the stakeholder you are dealing with. On the phase 4, we put the engagement of the stakeholders based on the categories, based on the 4 categories we divided. And on the phase 5 is where we start just monitoring the effectiveness and the communication of the stakeholders. And we end up by creating some strategic tools for the stakeholder management. It's 6 strategic tools. First of all, the first recommendation of this study is to make sure that you are going to select the proper person to run the program. When I'm talking about large program, it's not like matter only of how to deal with the program and how to run the program. It's the ability to deal with the resistance of change, which is mainly exists between the powerful stakeholder, using the authority to build partnership and not to impose the partnership, or not to impose the power over the other. It's a matter of creating partnership between different stakeholders instead of keeping them conflicting for getting further power. And the final one is having vision. Okay, of course, you don't want any program manager without having a proper vision for how the program should be run. The second one is mapping the stakeholder, which is again one of the achievements that this paper was able to do, is to create a map of the power and interest between the stakeholders and the relation between them, and setting a clear program vision and mission and program requirement. This is not, I'm not talking here about just achieving the budget, finalize the program on time. At the end of the day, this program stands for 17 years without, and after 17 years they shut it down. So mainly there is no proper vision of this one. Acquiring the allocations resources fairly. This is one of the reasons, by the way, of the conflicts, that each party of the list of the stakeholders I showed before feel that they didn't get the proper resources allocation for them. So each one of those stakeholders want to get further stake of this program, and this is why it end up doing nothing mainly. Flexibility and ability to listening for the feedbacks. This is another important point that sometimes we ignore it. When you start carrying the conflicts of the program all over the program life cycle, you don't have the time to solve the conflict on time, so you start holding all over the program life cycle. And the final point, which is very important as well, is know when to freeze the design changes. This program had a problem that the people, they want some lifting equipment from sea to land, and they end up by want something that can fly. So the changes on the requirement of the program was really had a major impact of the failure of this program. The application of this study mainly shed the light about the importance of program manager. Of course, all of us know that the program manager role is always vital for the success of the program. Yet here what I'm saying is the ability of the program manager to solve the conflicts and put limits and set boundaries for the other stakeholders over the program life cycle, instead of just managing or, in the Arabic way, living with the conflicts. The second one is stop blaming the system instead of blaming the people, because the final Department of Defense, the US Department of Defense, they end up by putting a report that it was a problem on the design of the system and the contradiction between different parties that lead to this failure. In reality, by going through this paper, you will find that the failure was because of people, not because of the actual system existing there. Limitation of the study. Of course, this is a study adopted purely from the literature. I have no access for the Department of Defense. I have no access for any military thing. So mainly it's the raw data is the data that was developed by someone else and even used by someone else. It's a very sensitive case study, especially when we're talking about military. And the case study is purely from literature. There is no personal interference on the collection of the data. The future research, I hope that I can use the same case study or some similar case study just to see how we can find a system or a model to set boundaries for the strong stakeholders. The stakeholders that really have the power to affect and destroy the projects, as well as make them, bring the success for the program. Okay, so creating this model of setting boundaries, okay, for powerful stakeholders won't be something easy to find. So I guess this is a useful way to look for the future studies. That's all for the study. Thank you for listening.